It's been 1 year since I bought my Tissot PRX Powermatic 80, and coincidentally it's time for me to sell some watches from my collection. The big question is it time to sell this watch? I would be lying if I told you I didn't buy into the hype of the Tissot PRX. This 40mm dress watch with an integrated steel bracelet blew me away, and it did pretty much the same thing for most of the world. It's well finished, with polished and brushed surfaces in exactly the right places. The bold polishing of the bezel makes the watch stand out and gives it a classy feel. The bracelet is one of the best I've ever seen on a watch of this price. The steel is vertically brushed and has polishing on the inner links, which really makes it pop in any situation. I can spot a Tissot PRX a mile away on anyone's wrist because the bracelet is so attractive and distinctive. The 40mm size, although a little large for some, seems to fit quite snug on my 6.5-inch wrist. This surprised me because with this integrated steel bracelet, it supposedly wears more like a 44mm, and I understand why a lot of people say this, but it just doesn't feel that big. This may be down to the slightly tighter way that I wear this watch on my wrist. It's comfy for me, so it works. Now here's where I have to be honest with you. This watch picks up scratches like an ice skater on a freshly frozen lake. I think you have the picture. It's going to get scratched, and it's going to get scratched sooner rather than later, especially if you wear it a lot. In the first month or two of ownership, I had a really hard time coming to terms with this. I'd think about the value I'm slowly chipping off the watch with every scratch it acquired. This was rather annoying. I'd also worry about taking it out to certain places where I might knock it on something. I was in the honeymoon phase, and brand new, this watch is just one of those watches that looks so finessed and spotless. Thankfully though, I pretty much forgot about this problem as the desire to wear this watch overcame the fear of getting it scratched. It's funny because even though now I can see all the scratches on it quite clearly, people still comment on how good it looks and ask me if it's a new purchase. When it comes to wearing this watch with different outfits and looks, I was surprised at how malleable it can be. You can wear this watch with a suit or smart outfit and it looks amazing. It's a dress watch after all. If you dress down a little bit, it retains its beauty and stands out accordingly. But if you're like me and you spend most of your time dressing like a student, it actually looks great. The watch dresses down itself almost and could pass for a cheaper watch. So if you really want, you can wear this watch with any outfit and the watch will sort of adjust itself accordingly to the look that you have. And at the start of ownership of this watch, I didn't realise I could do this. I would only wear this watch on sort of more smart occasions, but now I wear the watch, almost every other week. This watch is running an ETA-based caliber modified to allow 80 hours of power reserve. Being able to take the watch off at the end of the week and pick it up the following Monday without resetting the time is absolutely invaluable to me. I have heard issues with this caliber, but I personally haven't experienced any problems myself. If you think about how many PRXs have been sold around the world, there are bound to be some issues, but nothing Tissot won't sort out, I'm sure. As with any new watch, there was a honeymoon phase with the Tissot PRX, although it didn't last as long as I thought it would. I think about 2 or 3 months into ownership, I pretty much had gotten over the fact that this was a really nice watch that I didn't want to get scratched, and I started wearing it a lot more often. And coming out of the honeymoon phase, there absolutely was not this sudden loss of interest or desire to wear this watch. As I say, this watch is just so good looking and well built for the money, and I remind myself of this every time I put it on. But is there anything that I would love to see different with this watch? There honestly isn't much I'd change about this watch, which is why I still own it and wear it as much as I do. If I had to be cheeky and make this watch perfect, I'd ask Tissot to find a way to make this water resistance 200 meters so I can truly take this watch anywhere. I know, it's a dressier sports watch, and 100 meters of water resistance is very impressive nonetheless. Still though, I can't help but imagine how perfect this watch would be if I could confidently jump into the sea with it or take it to my local gym to go swimming. Besides, it's not like this trend of giving non-diver watches a good water resistance doesn't exist. Look at the Tudor Black Bay chronograph, for example. A meticulously gorgeous chronograph with a 200-meter depth rating. It's interesting because this year we've had releases like the Citizen Toyosa and the Yima Urban Traveller, which are trying so hard to recreate the balance that the Tissot PRX has, but they can't quite nail it in my opinion. The Toyosa comes close because it's incredible value for money, but the finishing and materials just don't match that of the PRX. I've realised that in horology, the hardest thing to do is to find a watch that you want to stick with. I mean, truly hold on to. It's just a very rare thing to come across. There's always the next best thing and the grass is always greener. Now, it's in my character to get bored of things easily, and initially I thought this watch would fall victim to this trait. I mean, it can be quite flashy for some people, probably not right for some situations. But I found myself wearing this watch in situations I shouldn't have. At the beach, believe it or not, at work, at the gym. Yes, I know this is stupid, but I didn't actually care that much. I began to accept this watch on an entirely new level, and I kept coming back to it time and time again. If you're watching this video and you're thinking of taking that step to experiencing this watch, after 1 year of owning it, I can safely say you can jump right in.